Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 2nd of June. It is a Sunday. We do have an 11 game main slate. One of the larger main slates on a Sunday that I can remember. Some pretty strong pitching options overall, but a lot of great hitting weather across the country. So it'll be very interesting. As a reminder, this is a first look at the pitching options. I do go more in depth for the members at DFS Army. I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. On FanDuel, you can kind of limit it to a third or so of my pitcher pool just because we don't have to be as creative, to be honest. But let's dig in here. Freddie Peralta taking on the worst team in baseball. Obvious spot for him. The Brewers offense keeps getting it done. He's a minus 310 favorite. K-prop of 7.5. Juice on the over. Pretty aggressive K-prop for Freddie Peralta. Coming off an 11K performance against the Cubs. Has not picked up a win since the end of April. That's really shocking. It's been really strong the last two starts. Had a rough stretch in there, but certainly a guy that we should be spending up for. Obviously, 11K. It's at a difficult price point to deal with, but probably the best pitching option on the slate. Price not mattering. So, Cole Reagans taking on a San Diego squad that has been better on the road, but they haven't been as dominant against left-handed pitching as I would have thought. His K-prop is just 5.5, juice on the under. He's a minus 135 favorite. Game total of just 8 with juice on the under. I feel like when I looked at weather that this game had some wind blowing out, so seeing it at a total of just 8 is actually really intriguing. As I look, it's out to center at 17 miles an hour, so it is actually a decent hitting situation in Kansas City, but lower game total for that. Reagan's definitely somebody I'm interested in. It's a pretty impressive K ability in him. I just think he's behind Peralta a little bit. Nick Lodolo, a ton of K upside. Been dealing with some injuries up and down. He's been best on the road so far this season. I don't mind him. Game total in this one is just 7. He's a slight underdog. His K-prop is sitting at 5.5 with juice very strongly on the over right now. I think Lodolo is a super interesting GPP option behind a Peralta, Reagans, Morton even, who's probably going to be somewhat higher owned, even though Oakland just smacked around Chris Sale. Speaking of Charlie Morton, let's try to find his K-prop here. Not seeing a K-prop for Morton right now, but he is a minus 250 favorite in this one. Coming off of a really bad start against a weaker Washington lineup. He's not some lock for me. I do think people are going to just plug him in. This game does have a total of 9 right now. But he's definitely somebody we want to have in our pool. Michael King taking on a Kansas City squad that actually has struggled over the last week in terms of winning games. Been really solid this season. I think there's upside for him in this spot. Like I mentioned, he is a slight underdog. His K-prop is 4.5, juice on the over. Man, I feel pretty good about the over on that. If you want to look into laddering Michael King's K-props a little bit, I feel like a 5 to 7 K performance feels like a likely outcome for him. Zach Littell, K-prop of 3.5, but do we really want to take it on Baltimore? He's an underdog. Game total of 9 with juice on the over. Don't think I'm going with Littell in this spot. He has been able to keep the ball in the yard away from home. Um, I have a hard time believing he's going to be able to do that today, though. Ben Brown, uh, coming off of just a spectacular start, he's a favorite over Lodolo and the Reds. I am definitely interested. I certainly wish we still had him in the 7K range, but it is what it is. K prop of 6.5. Juice very slightly on the under, but it's almost a pick 'em. That seems a little aggressive on the K side. He has just one appearance with more Ks than that. He is coming off of a 93 pitch performance, so shouldn't be any issues about workload. Ben Brown certainly somebody that really interests me. Chris Bassett just kind of keeps plugging it along, mid 20s fantasy points. Obviously coming off of two dominant starts against the White Sox, but obviously the White Sox are the worst team in baseball right now. His K prop sitting at 5.5, juice strongly on the over. It's a minus 175 home favorite against Pittsburgh. He has been slightly better at home. Um, Still, it hasn't been the best season for Bassett to this point, but he is coming off of back-to-back strong performances. Hopefully, he can build on that. Uh, and he's actually even stronger in the second of those two against the White Sox, which to me says a lot just because when pitchers make back-to-back starts against the same team, generally the hitters have the advantage in start number two. Uh, that really wasn't the case in the second one. So I think Bassett probably going to be a popular option, somebody that I'm going to rely on a decent amount. Quintana against Arizona, I'm not really interested. Rather take the Arizona bats. Brandon Pfaadt, maybe I have a little bit of interest. He has shown some pretty big upside. Um, Kind of look into his numbers. He is a slight favorite in the game. Game total of just 8 right now. K prop of 5.5, juice strongly on the over. I think I am going to mix in a little bit of Brandon Pfaadt in this spot. I would guess that he's probably somebody that's more in the 10 to 15% range for me, which means he's probably more in the 5 to 10% range by the field, maybe even less at this point. Brian Bale, don't know if I'm going to go there. I don't mind picking on Detroit. His K prop is just 4.5. Juice is on the over, but he is a minus 155 favorite. Game total of 9. I think he's going to make the pool, but barely. He could get bumped out because I may just choose to go with a guy like Cole Irvin. 4 out of his last 6 starts, 21 plus fantasy points. Tampa Bay squad that I do not mind picking on. He has been at his best when pitching at home. He is a minus 135 favorite. His K prop, probably not the greatest. Yeah, 4.5. Juice on the under. But I do think he gets a little K increase in this matchup. So I probably feel a little bit better about Cole Irvin than I do about Bayo. But we'll kind of see as it comes down. I want to keep my pitcher pool on the slate to around 8 guys. So a couple guys towards the bottom of it that may or may not make it in. Cole Irvin being slightly ahead of Bayo at this point. Not taking Jake Irvin. Andrew Haney kind of bouncing around, rolls again. Gets the matchup that we like. He has shown upside. I'm torn. His K prop's 4.5, juice on the over. He's a minus 130 favorite. Game total of 8.5, which seems a little high, I guess, but maybe I'm interested in Haney. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll pass on him and just gamble with Hunter Brown a little bit more. He's a minus 142 favorite. Game total of just 8. K prop of 6.5. Juice is on the under, but there are some Ks in this Minnesota lineup. There's some power too, but Brown started out horrendously this season, but he's really turned it around a little bit recently. So I think he's somebody that I have to be interested in, and he probably offers more upside than Haney does. Might even offer more upside than a guy like Bayo at this point. Simeon Woods Richardson, been pretty impressive, but he's just not a big K guy. I'm not going to take a guy like him against Houston. I wasn't on Joe Ryan against Houston, so I'm definitely not going to be on Woods Richardson at this point. Casey Mize, he's throwing the ball hard. I've seen a lot of average fastball velocity from starting pitchers, and Mize is up there. He's just not racking up strikeouts. Um, he's a bit of a reverse splits pitcher, so if Boston's lineup comes out super left hand heavy, I might have an interest in sneaking in some Mize exposure. He has a K prop of 3.5, which is pretty low. Juice is on the over, but I don't know if I'm going to get to Casey Mize at this point. The only other guy down here that I kind of considered was not Carrasco. Just going to open him up just to look, uh, see what his recent trends have been coming off the IL. Um, didn't go on a rehab start, so probably somewhat limited. But Trevor Rogers kind of intrigued me a little bit. Texas can struggle against left-handed pitching with how left-hand heavy their lineup has become due to some injuries, etc. But I don't think I need to go there, to be honest. He's probably somebody that falls in the like 10 to 12 range in my rankings. Um, I just know that he does have mid 20s upside, but I don't know that I want to get that creative. So, but there we have it. There's kind of that first look at pitching options. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's RAZ, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.